Hello, and welcome to another review by Zombie. In today's review, we're going to take a look at a product that was sent to me by the good folks at E-cigaretteimpressions.com. And it's called the Vamo. Now, the Vamo that they sent to me comes in this excellent gift package, which is a variable voltage, a variable wattage APV, and it's made by Ego. Comes in this great gift box. And when you open the gift box, this is what the contents look like. You get your instruction booklet, which is filled with a lot of great instructions. You definitely want to read this very carefully, and you'll want to read it probably several times before you get to know your Vamo. And there is the Vamo unit itself. An excellent piece of technology. And then in here, you have your charger, and it comes with two 18350 batteries by ICR. I'll show you how to charge those batteries right now. One of the other things that you will get in the kit that comes with the Vamo kit from E-cigaretteimpressions.com is you will get a Viva Nova tank, and that is the 2.8 milliliter Viva Nova, and that is this tank here, and it comes with the 1.8 ohm already in it, and it comes with a 2.4 ohm and a 2.8 ohm coil heads that you can change them over to. Now the Vamo unit you can either use in extended mode or you can use in the short mode, which I'll show you here in just a minute. But the batteries that come with the Vamo package from ecigaretteimpressions.com come with two 18350 batteries by ICR, and this is what those batteries look like. You have your positive end and your negative end. And this is the charger that they provide. You basically plug that into your wall outlet. And you're going to set your batteries in your charger just like this. Now, as you can see, the charger is also meant for the 18650s. So, you can also purchase the 18650s from ecigaretteimpressions.com. Now, on the charger, there's a little LED indicator light right here, which while you have it plugged in charging, that color will be red. Now when it's finished charging, it will light a solid green. And from personal experience, it usually takes about 3.5 to 4 hours from a low voltage to a complete full charge. So now I will show you how to set the batteries up inside of the Vamo in extended mode and short mode. Alright, now this is the Vamo itself. Very sleek design. Very nice looking. Now, it has an extension, plus it has a battery cover. And this is the version 2 of the Vamo, which the original version of the Vamo, it had a problem with the battery coil. The original version, version 1, the battery coil wasn't as thick, and it wasn't as it wasn't as large, and it wasn't as thick as the battery coil that they send out with version 2. So the problem that they had is that people found that their batteries would knock around, and it would make noise whenever they would try to use the Vamo units. So people were having to use magnetic spacers so they wouldn't get knockarounds. So they decided to use a bigger, sturdier, thicker battery coil design for the version 2. So that is the battery cover. Now, in the short mode, all you need is just one 18350, and you basically take your positive end, which is a stripe end, and you're going to just take and place that inside the Vamo, like so. And then you take your battery cover and you just screw it on. And to turn the Vamo on in short mode, just basically click it 5 times and it'll turn on. Now, however, for this demo, we're not going to look at the Vamo in the short mode. Reason why is because I found it, and personally I prefer to have the extended mode. But in the extended mode, which is the mode that you would have with the additional extension, okay, in the extended mode, you either use 2 of the 18350s or one 18650, and that gives you the additional longevity of, longer charge time, longer lasting battery time. So it's just better to use it in the extended mode. Now, the short mode, I could see, maybe somebody would have like short hands, or say women, for example. That would be good for them. So more power to you if you like to use the short mode. But me personally, I use the extended mode. So we're going to turn this back off. And then we're going to use it in the extended mode. So basically, we're going to unscrew the battery cover again. Okay. And we're going to take and put the battery cover on the extension. Like so. And we're going to take and place the negative side of the battery into the extension, like so, because it works easier to do it that way. And with the other battery already in the Vamo unit, you take and you add the two just together, just like this. And there you have it. Okay. Now we have the completed Vamo unit. And we'll go ahead and turn it back on. Now, unfortunately, I have to apologize For a period of this review, I'm going to have to turn certain camera functions down to a point to where I can show you the functionality of the faceplate along with the buttons of the Vamo unit, so that you can see the faceplate, the digital numbers and whatnot. So uh, please bear with me as we go into that part of the review. Okay, and as I stated before, I apologize for having to turn some of the features on my camera down. It's just that was the only way for you to be able to make out the indications on the faceplate of the Vamo. When I'm done explaining the features of the faceplate of the Vamo, then I will turn the features of the webcam back up. So, um, first off, as I explained earlier, the on-off features of the Vamo are the what I call the ignition fire button, and that's the big button here. And you basically turn your Vamo on and off with this button, and you also fire the Vamo with this button. It says off there. Now, if you do it 5 times in a fast sequence, that will turn your Vamo on. There you go. Now I'll show you to turn it off. There you go. I'm going to go ahead and turn it back on real quick. Alright. This button here is your plus indicator. And the voltage, you can increase it by 0.1. And you can go from 3 volts to 6 volts. And of course, when you hit the 6 volt, you will go from 6 volt and you'll drop back down to 3 volts. Now, if you should happen to hit your minus, you can easily go back up to 6 volts. Now, the other functions of the minus button, if you hold it for a second or two, it'll show you how much power your battery has left. Mine shows it has 8 volts left. Now, full charge will usually indicate that you have 8.3 to 8.4 volts, and that's on an 18650 or 2 18350s. And that's in the extended mode. The other function, there is one more function for the minus button, and that would be that if you hold it a little bit longer than 2 seconds, say I think 5 seconds, it will switch modes, and there's 2 modes. Let me show you. There's mode 1, which indicates as number 1, and that is the AVG mode, and there is mode 2, which is indicated as number 2, and that is the RMS mode, which in my personal recommendation with the Vamo, you would be better off in the RMS mode. Now, the difference between these 2 modes, the AVG mode is the average mode, and the explanation for that is um, if you have, say you're firing at 4.2 volts, you're not going to be firing at 4.2 volts. You're going to be firing at 3.7 volts or 4.7 volts. Why it is they made that mode, I don't know. Engineers can be a little cuckoo like that sometimes. I know because I am one myself. We tend to get a little fancy when we design things of electronic nature. So I know it's a little bit nutty, but who who can explain why that particular engineer came up with that design? Uh, Maybe he did it just because he could. That's why most engineers do it. Um, but RMS mode. Now here's the deal behind RMS. RMS means basically you you flatline, okay, and that means that well, at least in electronics or the electrical field, uh, that means you peak out and you hit one solid uh, uh, well, you're going to stay right where you're at. That's where you're going to be hitting. That's where you're going to be firing. So if you fire at 4.2, you're going to be firing at 4.2. You're not going to be firing at 3.7 or firing at 4.7. Your number, like on here, let me get to 4.2. Okay. See that? I have it set for 4.2 volts. Well, it's going to be firing at 4.2 volts because it's on RMS mode. So, RMS mode is definitely the way to go with the Vamo. That's just a personal preference. I mean, there are people that probably would do it in the first mode. I don't know why. Maybe it's a personal preference. But that's the difference between the two modes. So, now, this, the plus indicator side, if you hold on to it for longer than 2 seconds, the only extra feature that it has is it will show you its resistance. And right now, it's showing infinite resistance because we don't have anything plugged into the top. So now your Cardos, your Claramizers, your uh, you know, things that you would put into the 510 thread here, all of those have resistances. And this feature will allow you to read what that resistance is. And basically, like with the BB, okay, I will show you right now because we will plug it in and I will show you the resistance. And it is the 2.8 ohm coil. It's showing 3.1 ohm, and that is because let me show that to you a little bit better so you can see the ohm symbol. The ohm symbol is right there. Okay. Now the reason why it shows 3.1 ohms and not 2.8 is because it's going to be within a plus or minus 0.4 um, uh, give or take situation. So it could be up to 3.2 ohms, and it could show as low as 2.4 ohms. That's just the way the Vamo reads it, because there's certain um, it there's certain flaws that materials have in electronics. So, and everything has flaws. So nothing's perfect. So of course the coil head in the 2.8 ohm for this particular coil for this inside the BB isn't going to exactly be dead on at 2.8 ohm because it could be a 2.9, it could be a 3.0, but right now the Vamo's reading it at a 3.1. So that's the way it's going to show. Okay. Now, the other function that you should be aware of with these two buttons, because we haven't even been into wattage mode yet, and that's what we're getting to next, is that to get to wattage mode, because we've been in voltage mode this whole time, you basically have to hold both buttons down. You can do that either by pressing with both fingers, or since I'm going to show you this way, you just press and hold both buttons down like this, and it just jumped up with a little W there. Okay, now, when we were in the voltage mode, when I did the plus and minus, it increased the integer by 0.1. So in the wattage mode, I'm going to show you that it will decrease and increase the integer by 0.5. And in the wattage mode, you can select between 3 to 15 watts of power. And as you can see, you can go between 3 and 15 watts. And when I get back down to 3, if I take it down, it will go back to 15. And just like if I jump back over to the other end, it'll go back up to 3. So, that is basically the entire functionality range of Vamo. It is variable wattage, variable voltage. I tend to personally use it in the variable voltage mode. A lot of people tend to think that you can use both variable wattage and variable voltage modes. However, that is not the case. You can either use one mode or the other. Since I'm done explaining the functionality of the buttons and the faceplate, I'm going to now turn the camera functions back up. Okay, and as I said before, I'm sorry that I had to turn the webcam features down. Now, the screen will display a low, it'll say low whenever your battery power is depleted to the point to where it can no longer fire. And that generally means in the extended mode, which is either two of the 18350s or one of the 18650, the extended mode, it'll go down to, the low will show up at 6.4 volts or lower, and your screen, the Vamo will flash at you, the screen will flash, and then it will say low. Now, if you're in the short mode, which is just one of the 18350 batteries, then your voltage will go down to 3.2 volts, and it'll flash at you again, and it will say low on the screen, and that's when you know it's time to charge your batteries. Word of advice: when you take the batteries out of the Vamo, make sure that you turn the Vamo off first. Don't just leave it powered up and unscrew the battery compartment, because that's not recommended. I know from personal experience, you'll get some sparks that try to jump out at you, and it's just not recommended. So, okay. Now, on the very bottom, on the battery cover, there's a little circular hole, And I've heard tell that this is another engineering feat, what the engineers call a gas vent. Now, um, I guess someone in their right mind thought that it would be nice to have a vent in case the batteries decide to vent gases. So this is a vent for the batteries if they ever decide to have gases. Um, I don't really see how that would be a problem, but there it is. Uh, now, uh, when it comes to your cartomizers, your claromizers, things of that nature, when you put your uh, tanks with the coils on it onto the 510 thread for your Vamo, um, anything that's below 1.2 or lower than 1.2 ohms will not work on the Vamo. Reason being is that it's just this is just too well designed for that. It's too high powered design for that. Um, it would probably burn it up like that. So it does have a what they call a self protection circuit built into it. So if it senses that it has a too low of a resistance, or if the resistance is infinite, it will flash at you and it will turn itself off. Um, Another thing, if for some reason your cartomizer or your claramizer or your tank should happen to spring a leak, uh, the Vamo will sense it and it will flash at you and turn itself off. Um, so the nice thing about the Vamo is that it's pretty self-reliant in protecting itself. You definitely uh, have a well worthwhile investment in the Vamo. Um, if for some reason you have a dead cartomizer or dead claramizer or a dead tank with a coil head where it goes bad or just happen to fry it, burn it out, pop it, whatever you want to call it, the Vamo will know it, and you won't get a hit. Um, it just won't work. You'll hit the button and it just won't do anything. It'll be like, huh, what's going on, and so in that case, what you do is don't freak out. Don't be like, oh my God, my Vamo's not working. No, you don't want to do that. What you do is you basically just check your resistance. And if the resistance reads 9.9 ohms, well, then you know your uh, tank, your cardo, your claramizer, it's dead. It's time to get a new one, or it's time to replace the coil. And as I showed you with the VB, that's pretty easy to do. So, uh, the Vamo has great features, has great functionality. One of the experiences that I had with the Vamo over my testing period with it was that I did accidentally drop the sucker. Um, and let me tell you, this thing is pretty solid. Check it out. Can you hear it? That is metal. That's not plastic. It's not fiberglass. It's not anything that's like poorly constructed. That is solid metal. It's heavy, but it's when you feel it in your hand, it's gonna feel secure. You're not going to be like all butterfingers with it like you would be one of the standard size e-cigarettes where it's going to drop out of your hand, you know, and the battery's going to shatter on impact because it's made of acrylic. No. This thing here, I dropped it from the height of my bed in the nursing home here. And this thing, look at it. It's still in perfect shape. The Vamo. It's awesome. So the only other thing I can say about the Vamo is that the design of the Vamo, all of its functionality, um, uh, everything in itself, and all of its features, the way that it operates, it's the look of it, the feel of it, um, the durability of it, the way that it holds up, the way that it fires. Um, I'm gonna score it a 10 out of 10. This is the best e-cigarette that I've had to date, and I don't think I'm gonna find anything better. I'm not saying the hunt is over, but this is by far the best. So let's uh, let's go even further into the review. Let's have a vape and see how she performs. I'm going to set my voltage to a 4.7 volts and let's check it out. I love that nice menthol taste that e-cigaretteimpressions.com has. It's the best menthol e-liquid I've ever had. You know, the taste that, you know, that the Vamo and the BB put out together, along with the e-liquid, is by far superior. So I'm gonna rate the taste that the Vamo fires an 8 out of 10 because it's refreshing and it's very cool. Now let's check the throat hit that we can get off the fire from the Vamo. Just a little bit of harshness. There's not very much though, and it goes cool coming. It goes cool going down, and it goes cool coming back up. Works in conjunction with the taste. Uh, has that watery effect on the tongue, which is very good for menthol. Um, you know, and as I keep stating, if it wasn't for how the Vamo fires, I don't think, you know, any other e-cigarette would work as well with this e-liquid. I mean, I could probably try it in some of the other stuff that I've had, but it probably would not taste as good, and it probably would not hit as good either. So I'm going to rate the throat hit an 8 out of 10. So what's left? Well, you know what's left. It's the favorite part of everything, and that's the vapor production. So let's check it out. Let's see that one more time. awesome. Big time vapor production, very satisfying, very inviting. It begs you to come back for more. I'm going to score it 10 out of 10. So there it is, the Vamo, along with the Viva Nova and the menthol e-liquid. All three great products from www.ecigaretteimpressions.com. Go check them out. They have other fine products. I'm going to post their link in the description box below, above the comment section. And just wanted to say thank you to the fine folks at E-Cigarette Impressions for sending me these great products. Just want to point out that with the Vamo, I have officially been able to quit smoking. So there's another key point right there for the Vamo. So I hope you enjoyed my review. Please subscribe to my channel. And, well, until next time, happy vaping.